Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna devotees, a warm welcome to everyone. So, today we have another very interesting topic, that is yoga for happiness. Before we start, we'll offer some prayers. So, you can repeat after me if possible. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale
कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta
श्रीमती भक्तिवेदान्त
Swamin Iti Namine
स्वामिन्निति नामिने
Namaste Saraswate Deve
नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे
Gauravani Pracharine
गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी
Paschatya Deshatarine
पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
Prabhu Nityananda
प्रभु नित्यानंद
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा
Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
हरे कृष्णा
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे
Hare Rama Hare Rama
हरे
Hare
रामा
Rama,
हरे
Hare
रामा
Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
राम
Rama
राम
Rama,
हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare.
So today we have a very important topic, yoga for happiness. And today all of us know yoga has become a very extremely popular word all over the world, not only India now, all over the world people are practicing yoga. In fact, there is an International Yoga Day. So there are yoga studios everywhere today. There are yoga apps, and even big companies, they organize yoga sessions for everyone. So yoga is not now a religious term which people associate with some religion. Yoga is now universally accepted phenomena which everybody practices, and they relate yoga with mental peace, physical fitness, and many more things. But today we'll understand what is the meaning of this term yoga and who gave us this understanding of yoga. So this yoga word has come from Bhagavad Gita. Many people are not aware from where this yoga term has come. So from Bhagavad Gita, we'll understand what is a real understanding of this term yoga. So before we start, just to give you a brief introduction of this session, because this session is based on the teachings of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is a founder Acharya of ISKCON, Hare Krishna movement. So he had he is the founder Acharya who dedicated his entire life for spreading this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, from where we are going to learn this term yoga. So today we'll understand the real meaning of word yoga. And then we'll also understand how we can practice yoga in our age. Age means time. So there are different types of yoga systems, and based on time, place, and circumstances, we practice different forms of yoga. And then at the last, we'll understand some do's and don'ts connected with this yoga system. So today in this world, we are living in jet age. Just like jet moves very fast. So today life has become very fast. A lot of advancement is happening in this world. But there is also advancement of a lot of stress, depression, and so many problems, especially connected with this mind. So because of that, a lot of people in this world are asking questions that if we are all working for better life, more happiness, more satisfaction, then what is a missing gap? So that is why the yoga has become very popular today, because now people think that there is something, some time they have to spend on their body, on their mind. They cannot simply using this body mind system for material activities. They have to give some time. And how they have to spend this time. So this yoga term has become very famous today. But before we discuss further, my question to all of you is, what is the meaning of this term yoga? Especially those who are joining us for the first time or maybe the second time in the session. So my question to everyone, you can unmute and answer if you're comfortable, that, or you can type in the chat box. What is the meaning of this term yoga? Entire world is practicing today yoga. But what is the definition of this term yoga? What do you mean by yoga when we practice yoga? Can anybody answer this question? Or you can type in the chat box. Just in 2-3 words or in one sentence, you can let us know. Or maybe somebody is in some meditation. Okay, so generally, yoga means, what comes to in our mind is some kind of asanas. This is a picture which comes in our mind. As if somebody is sitting in some asana and meditating on something. That is the conventional understanding of yoga, which comes in our head. But let us understand what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So the word yoga is derived from the Sanskrit root word called yuj. Yuj actually means to link or to connect. That means you have to link or connect two things. Two living entities, you have to connect them, or two objects. That is the meaning of yuj. Now, if I ask you what to link or connect, yes, somebody has already answered to unite. Yes. So if I ask you what to link or connect in yoga system, if yoga actually means to connect or to link, then what is the meaning of this term, to link or connect? What we are going to connect if we are practicing yoga system? I think most of you are practicing yoga every day. So can anybody answer this question, that in yoga, what we are trying to connect or unite? Okay, looks like, okay, so somebody has answered mind, body, and breath. Okay, so if we talk about mind and body, they are already connected. Correct? That is why your body is working like that. In fact, if your mind gets disconnected from the body, then there are some issues, some problems will be there in your body. You'll not be able to move your body. So these are already connected, mind and body and breath. Nothing is there to be connected. We have to connect something which is right now not connected properly. Okay. So, right. Okay. I think it is spirit. Maybe. So let us understand spirit, yes. So spirit, we have to connect spirit soul with what? Spirit soul, one part is right answer. Second part is what? So it is actually a process of linking ourselves with God. That is called yoga. Simple as that. Means you have to connect yourself. And before you understand what is yourself, means you have to understand you are not this material body. Krishna explains Bhagavad Gita, Dehinosmin yatha dehe komaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhira satranam muyati. So the first step in yoga system is to at least theoretically understand that I am not this body. I am spirit soul. And this soul is there inside this material body. And yoga means to connect this soul, which is there inside the body, with the super soul. Super soul also means Paramatma or God Himself. So, yoga actually means to connect Atma with Paramatma, or to connect spirit soul with the super soul. This is a process of yoga system. Correct? So, if I ask you, is there any yoga system? Are you aware of some yoga system by which you can connect your spirit soul with God? Anyone has heard about some yoga systems? I hope if you are practicing yoga, you must have heard about different types of yoga systems which people practice every day, like this form of asanas which people practice. Asanas is also part of one yoga system. Correct? So, can you just name some types of yoga systems? Okay, some Zoom user, I don't know the name, but he has mentioned meditation. Yes, meditation is part of yoga system, but I'm asking name of the yoga system. So Krishna has mentioned various types of yoga systems in Bhagavad Gita, and like one of the yoga system is called Karma Yoga. Second yoga system is called Dhyan or Ashtang Yoga system. And there is another yoga system which is called Bhakti Yoga. These are all yoga systems. Correct? Now, if you remember in the previous slide, we had discussed that yoga actually means to connect Atma with Paramatma. So, if you're able to achieve this goal of yoga system, means if you're able to connect your Atma with God, that means you have already achieved the goal of yoga system. That is why you have to understand that most of these yoga systems do not involve asanas. Correct? This is something new for all of us. Generally, all of us think yoga system means some asanas has to be there. You have to do some physical asanas. No, we have to understand yoga system is not connected with this physical body only. Yoga system is something beyond this physical body. So generally, people think yoga is only meant for this physical body. No, yoga is something which has to do more with the spirit soul inside this body than this physical body. So that is why most of the yoga systems which are mentioned in our scriptures, they do not involve asanas. Why they do not involve asanas? Because if you can connect your Atma with God, with Paramatma, without practicing asanas, that means that is also a yoga system. Now, today the asanas what we practice is actually part of Ashtanga yoga system. But Ashtanga Yoga system is not so easy as all of us think of. So let me make you understand that what is the Ashtanga Yoga system described in Bhagavad Gita. So Ashtanga Yoga system, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, we have to understand there are 8 steps recommended in Ashtanga Yoga system, and there are 8 steps, and you have to follow step by step. I mean, you have to go in a sequence. You cannot directly jump to the 4th or 5th one. So if you go in a sequence, then it starts with Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi finally. Samadhi, the final step of Ashtanga Yoga, means when you're completely absorbed in Super Soul, in Paramatma, when you're fully connected with Him. That is called Samadhi in Ashtanga Yoga. A lot of people are not aware that Ashtanga Yoga actually means 8 steps, 8 stages are there. And they generally practice only few parts of it. But we have to understand that Ashtanga Yoga system starts with the first stage, first step. What is that? Yam. Yam means where a person has to practice self-control in his life. Even before he starts practicing Ashtanga Yoga, there is some level of qualification which is required. So what is the qualification of a person? The qualification is first is Yam. Yam means that a person has to be non-violent, he has to practice celibacy, he has to practice truthfulness, he has to be non-possessive about anything material in this world. That is called Yam. First step means you have to first control your senses and mind before you take up this process of Ashtanga Yoga system. Then there is something called Niyam. Niyam means personal discipline. So personal discipline means, again, you have to follow a certain level of regulated life, where you have to every day read the scriptures, you have to maintain cleanliness, internal cleanliness, external cleanliness everywhere, and then you have to practice some processes for your self-purification to purify your heart. This is called Niyam. And then comes the third stage called asanas. Correct? So before you practice asanas, which is the third step, you have to understand that Ashtanga Yoga can only be practiced in a place which is secluded, sacred place. Secluded means where there is no distraction. Nobody's there. You are alone. Nobody's there. And in a sacred place, holy place, like Haridwar or some holy dham, which is very spiritually potent. Correct? But here comes very important, interesting point, that the place has to be secluded. Nobody has to be there. And today we can see how we practice yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, asanas. Correct? Especially International Yoga Day. Everybody gathers together in a big stadium and they declare to the entire world, today we are practicing yoga system, asanas. No, Bhagavad Gita is talking about something else. But who is concerned about Bhagavad Gita? Nobody reads. Nobody is interested in knowing the details of Ashtanga Yoga system. But this is how we are meant to practice. If you are practicing asanas, means nobody has to be there around you. You have to fully focus on Paramatma. And then you have to lead a life of complete celibacy. That means unless until you don't have full control over your mind and senses, you are not eligible to practice Ashtanga Yoga system. Now that also we can check in the world, how many people are there who have full control over the mind and senses? How many people are there who are practicing complete celibacy? Correct? Maybe very few in this world will be there who will have full control over their mind and senses. Correct? It is not that, the previous day we have done a lot of sense gratification. and today in the morning we are practicing Ashtanga Yoga system and it will work for me. It is not like that. You have to first practice celibacy, control your senses and mind, purify your heart, free from all material desires. Then only you can become eligible for the Ashtanga Yoga system. And then if you have to go to a secluded place, suppose in a forest, you have to practice alone, then another thing you have to see is you have to become free from fear in your heart. You cannot go to a forest alone and then become fearful of forest, wild animals, or other things. Then you cannot practice Ashtanga Yoga system. Not easy. So this is another problem. And then when you're practicing asanas in Ashtanga Yoga system, your base has to be kushagrass, means you have to lay kushagrass on the ground. Then you can practice Ashtanga Yoga. Now that also we can see today how we practice Ashtanga Yoga system. So today people use yoga mats. Correct? That is not a system of practice Ashtanga Yoga system. Actually, you have to lay kushagrass. You have to be connected with the ground by laying kushagrass. Or sometimes they use deer skin. Why they use deer skin? Because generally it is mentioned in the scriptures that snakes and other reptiles, they don't come near deer skin. So suppose you're practicing in a forest. So if there is a deer skin, then you can protect yourself from snakes and other reptiles. Correct? So that is the main thing. And then when you're practicing asanas, very important, you have to sit alone in a rigid posture. Means if you are sitting in one asana, unless until you attain perfection in that asana, you cannot change to another asana. Means a real process of Ashtanga Yoga is that you sit in one asana for many years together till you attain perfection there. And then you change to another asana. Not for 5-10 minutes you keep changing your asanas. Not like that. Just like we can see in our scriptures, Valmiki, he practiced this Ashtanga Yoga system for 72,000 years. And then he was able to attain perfection in Ashtanga Yoga. He was able to attain Samadhi. And why it was like that? Because earlier in other yugas, the lifespan was very big. People used to live for lakhs of years. So based on time, place, and circumstances, this Ashtanga Yoga system was recommended for other yugas, not for this yuga in Kali Yuga, where our lifespan is not even 100 years. And if we go through all the rules and regulations, we can see how many of us are willing to practice this yoga system. How many of us are there who can practice complete celibacy, fully purified, no other engagement, material world, and then we can go to a secluded place, forest. Of course, there are very few forests left today. Most of the forests are already gone. So to find out some good forest also is very difficult today. And then if you have to go to a forest, then there are wild animals. So many problems are there. How you will practice Ashtanga Yoga system like this? So we cannot practice this system in Kali Yuga. That is why asanas, which is part of Ashtanga Yoga system, ideally is not recommended for Kali Yuga if you are trying to attain the goal of yoga system. What is the goal of yoga system? Samadhi. Then it is not recommended. Yes, you can practice asanas for some bodily fitness, but you cannot say that is yoga system. Real yoga system means if you can attain samadhi, you can connect your Atma with Paramatma. So that is why this Ashtanga Yoga system is not practical in this Kali Yuga. What to speak of us? When Krishna asked this question from Arjuna 5,000 years back, even Arjuna also expressed his inability to practice such yoga system. Just imagine 5,000 years back, Arjuna, who is mentally, physically much more stronger than us, what he says in Bhagavad Gita, he says, for the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong for Krishna. To subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. Who is speaking? Arjuna. Arjuna is not an ordinary person. He is a perfect Kshatriya. He is physically, mentally much more stronger than us. Still, Arjuna is expressing his inability. So, if Arjuna is not able to practice, what to speak of us, where we stand in this system? So, then what is the yoga system which is recommended for all of us? What is that system in Kali Yuga? By practicing that yoga system, I mean, we can connect our Atma with Paramatma. How we can make it possible in Kali Yuga? So, there is a very nice uh, story from our history. So in Kali Yuga, when Kali Yuga started, there was one king, and he was very fond of studying the Vedas. And he was also enamored by the wealth of the wisdom of Vedas. But he uh, wanted people in his kingdom also to study the scriptures and follow these Vedas in their life. And then he observed that in his kingdom, people were already preoccupied with many things in their life, that they had no time to study the Vedas, understand the purpose of the Vedas, and practice all the principles of Vedas in their life. So somehow or other, he was very much concerned about this thing, that how he can make people in his kingdom study Vedas and practice Vedas in their life. So one day he called all his ministers in his kingdom for a meeting. And then he discussed in that meeting that I want a condensed version of all the Vedas, a very condensed version, which everybody can read in short time and then they can practice the Vedas in their life. So all these ministers, they called all the well-learned Brahmanas in their kingdom. And then the king asked everyone, all of them, all the Brahmanas who were well aware of the Vedas, that they have to compile one single book which will contain the entire essence of all the Vedas. So all the Brahmanas, they discussed, they went for a lot of research work, they discussed, they read all the Vedas, they discussed, and after a lot of discussions, contemplation, they finally compiled one single book which contained the essence of all the Vedas, and they presented it to the king. And this book was having some 600 pages in it, and all the important selected shlokas were there, which were only concerned about the goal of human life. So the king read this book. He went through all the shlokas, but then he thought to himself that even if I distribute this book free of cost in my kingdom to everyone, still people will not read this book. It is not easy in Kali Yuga even for people to read this book. So again he called another meeting of all the Brahmanas, ministers, everyone. And then he asked that, I don't want a book now. I want one single page, single paper, which will contain all the important selected verses of all the Vedas. And just by reading this one page, one paper, people can understand what is the essence of all the Vedas, what is the purpose of life. So all the Brahmanas, they said, no, this is not possible. This is next to impossible. We cannot do like this. Whatever verses we have selected, that also took a lot of time for us. Now you're asking that we have to compile everything on one page, one paper. That is not possible at all. So still king forced them that, you have to do this work because it's very important task for me. I want people in my kingdom to practice Veda scriptures in their life. So somehow or other he forced all the Brahmanas to take up this task. And again they went. And a lot of heated debates happened among all the Brahmanas, a lot of discussions. And finally, after many months, they came back to the king and presented one page which had some very few selected verses from all the Vedas. So again, the king went through all the shlokas, and then he thought to himself, even if I distribute this, papers everywhere, still there is a possibility that not everybody will read these shlokas and they will follow. So then he thought that, can I have only one shloka which I can place in all the public places everywhere, all the billboards everywhere? I put everywhere these banners contain this one single shloka. And even if people are traveling, they are busy in their activities, they can just read this shloka in all these public places and they can practice them. So again, he called all the Brahmana this time and he asked them that, I know you have done a lot of hard work and you have compiled everything in one page, one paper, but can you give me one verse which can give me the essence of all the Vedas? I don't want anything else from you. So again, all the Brahmanas, they said, no, this is not so easy. It's not possible at all. We cannot do like this. So still king pleaded them, requested them, and asked, please you do this, take this task. I want one shloka which I can place in all the public places. This time, all the Brahmanas, they took many years. And after many years of discussions and debates, everything, they presented the king one shloka which talks about the essence of all the Vedas. If you know this shloka, that means you know everything. So can anybody guess here in the meeting? What is that shloka? Any guess from your side?
Prabhuji, it's the Mahamantra.
Yes, I knew this thing you will say like that because I am taking this session. So they presented one very interesting shloka, and the shloka is Harer Naam, Harer Naam, Harer Naam, Eva hi Kevalam. Kalau Nastiv, Nastiv, Nastiv Gatir Annitha. Because we are talking about Kali Yuga, and the goal of human form life, as per Yuga system, is to connect our Atma with Paramatma, with the Lord. And based on circumstances in Kali Yuga, as we know, we cannot practice any other yoga system, which will require a lot of time for us. So it is mentioned in this verse, just like in court, we give final judgment as order, 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 3 times. So in the shloka also it is mentioned 3 times. Harer Naam, Harer Naam, Harer Naam, Eva hi Kevalam. Kalau Nastiv, Nastiv, Nastiv Gatir Annetha. It is mentioned this verse that there is a mantra which is given in Kali Yuga. Although there are so many mantras in Kali Yuga, in different yugas, but in Kali Yuga, this mantra is given. The mantra is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. It is mentioned that Hare Naam, Hare Naam, Hare Naam, Eva hi Kevalam. If somebody takes to this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he can immediately connect himself with the Supreme Personality God just by chanting this mantra. No need of doing anything, any other physical austerity. Nothing is required. And moreover, no rules and regulations we have to follow. It is not like, we saw in Ashtanga Yoga system, you have to be first fully purified, you have to practice celibacy, you have to control your senses, you have to practice non-violence. So many things are required for practice in Ashtanga Yoga system. But when it comes to Bhakti Yoga system, which is mentioned for Kali Yuga, here you don't have to prepare yourself for anything. You have to simply take to this process of chanting of the holy names, and immediately you will be able to connect yourself with God. Now, all of you will think that this Prabhuji is from Hare Krishna movement, ISKCON. That is why he's talking about this mantra. If I go to some other organization, they will talk about some other mantra. Correct? So I will show you today all the scriptural references from where I'm talking. I will talk about only Vedas, not Hare Krishna movement, not ISKCON. I will talk from all the Vedas, which actually talks about this mantra. It is not that it is creation of ISKCON and Hare Krishna movement. This mantra is coming from the point of beginning of this Kali Yuga. This mantra is recommended for everyone in Kali Yuga. So today we'll go through all the scriptures where it is mentioned that this is a mantra for this Kali Yuga. So this is a shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 3rd chapter, 52nd verse. It is mentioned here in the shloka, Kriteya dhyayato Vishnu, Tretayam yajito makhe, Dwapare paricharyayam, Kalau tadhari kirtana. Kriteya dhyayato Vishnu. Dhyayato means dhyan, Ashtang Yoga, which we were all discussing. So this Dhyan Yoga was mentioned for Satyuga. Satyuga is another yoga where the lifespan of people was almost like lakhs of years. Then Tretayam Yajito Makhe. In Treta Yuga, the process of yoga was by performance of yajna, sacrifices. People used to perform yajna for many years. And Dwapare Paricharyaya, in Dwapar Yuga, the process of yoga was Pancharatrika Vidhi, means temple worship, deity worship. You were able to connect yourself with Lord. But in Kali Yuga, when we cannot practice all these rules and regulations, when we don't have pure ingredients for performing fire sacrifices, we're not yagning Brahmins here, then it is Kalau Tadhari Kirtana, only by chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So like in Satyuga, it was meditation on Lord Vishnu, where people used to meditate for lakhs of years, thousands of years. In Treta Yuga, it was sacrifices, yajna. In Kali Yuga, we cannot do yajna and sacrifices. Why we cannot do? Because the first qualification which is required to perform yajna is you need yagnik Brahmins. Yagnik Brahmins means who can ignite fire just by chanting mantras. That is the qualification of a yagnik Brahmin who can conduct yajnas. They were not using matchbox for yajnas. They were just chanting mantras and they were able to ignite fire. That is the perfection of chanting of mantras. So today we don't have, Brahmanas who can chant the mantras and they are so pure that they can chant mantras and they can ignite fire. Not possible in Kali Yuga. And in Dwapar Yuga, it was elaborate temple worship. That is why you will see the temples from, Dwapar Yuga. They were very big in size, huge, very big scale. People to perform temple worship. But we don't have that level of opulence in Kali Yuga. Yes, we do temple worship, but we don't do in a way as it was done in Dwapar Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, when we don't have purity, we don't have all the pure ingredients for yajna, we don't have brahmanas, all those things are not possible, and we cannot do any austerity in Kali Yuga. We cannot go to secluded place. People cannot practice everybody's celibacy. All that is not possible in Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga, the process is you just chant the holy names. You cannot do any mental or physical austerity. You just chant the holy names. As simple as that. And then in Narayan Samhita, it is mentioned that Dwaparer Janer Vishnu Pancharatrastu Kevale Kalau to Namatrena Pujyate Bhagwan Hari. So what is the translation of this shloka? In the age of Kali, people should simply chant holy names of Supreme Personality of Godhead. No other process will work. And then Kali Shantra and Upanishad, there is entire mantra which is mentioned here. A lot of people were asking me, where is the mantra? Here is the mantra in Upanishad. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Iti Shodashakam Nam Kali Kanmasha Nashanam, Nata Paraturupaya Sarvedeshu Drishyate. Iti Shodashakam means 16 words. This mantra is there. Kali Kalmasha Nashanam, it can destroy all the faults of this Kali Yuga. And Nata Paraturupaya. Upaya means there is no other solution in Kali Yuga. Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. All the Vedas are indicating toward this mantra. So what else we need? In Kali Shantra Upanishad, it is clearly mentioned like that. Correct? And then Brahmaradya Puran, it is mentioned that Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Evai Kevalam, Kalau Naste Vaiva Naste Vaiva Naste Gatarambetam. This also I have shared with you earlier. Same mantra, same shloka. And then in Srimad Bhagavatam, again another very interesting shloka. Kaler dosh nide rajan asti eko mahan guna Kirtana Deva Krishna se Mukta Sangha Param Vrije. Kaler Dosh Nirerajan. This Kali Yuga is full of faults. But there is one great quality about this Kali Yuga. What is that? If somebody takes to this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he will become free from all the faults of Kali Yuga. So this is there. Correct. And then Bhagavad Gita also indirectly Krishna talks about this. He says, Yagya Nam Japa Yagyosmi, of sacrifices and the chanting of the holy names, Japa. So this Japa, this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is like performance of Yagya in Kali Yuga. Now let me go through some do's and don'ts of chanting. So we have to first go through the do, understand what are do's. So when you are chanting this mantra, before that, you can start your chanting with the Panch Tattva mantra, in which we chant the names of Krishna, Balram, Radharani, and we ask for their mercy so that we can chant nicely. So this is the mantra you have to chant only once, and then you can start chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Another thing is we have to chant this mantra audibly. Means you cannot chant in your mind. There are mantras which are chanted in mind, like Gayatri mantra is recommended to be chanted in mind. We don't chant audibly Gayatri mantra. And Gayatri mantra is not recommended for this yuga because there are many rules and regulations which people don't follow, they are not aware of. So this is a mantra. Why? Because Hare Krishna Mahamantra has no rules and regulations. Anytime you can chant under all circumstances, anybody can chant. But you have to chant audibly. Pronounce each name distinctly. Each and every word you have to chant very nicely to get maximum benefit. And chant with respect, devotion, concentration, because you are chanting the holy name of the Lord, and there is no difference between Lord and his holy name. So when you chant, Lord is there in front of you. As soon as you chant, Lord appears in front of you. Chant by keeping count on a mala. So ideally, it is recommended that we chant on beads. So there are beads which contain 108 beads in a mala. So with that, if you chant, then it is very easy to focus our mind there on the holy name. And preferably chant after taking a bath. Preferably chant during the early morning hours. Morning is the best time. So these are do's. Don'ts are that do not chant only a portion of Mahamantra. Do not chant while reading a book or newspaper or while watching TV. Sometimes people think we can do multitasking. I will also watch some videos and I will also continue my chanting, or I will read newspaper, I will continue my chanting. That will not work. You can do only one thing at a time. But sometimes people think that I am very busy, I don't have time. So even materially speaking, just like for a woodcutter, if he has to cut a lot of trees and he simply continues cutting of the trees, then that will not work. He has to also sharpen his axe. Correct? Because if you want to cut the trees, you need a good axe. Similarly, if you want to work in this material world, you need a good mind, peaceful mind, free from all distractions. So materially speaking, mantra means mana plus trayate, which can liberate your mind from all unwanted thoughts. So when you chant this mantra, there are many benefits. First benefit is you become free from all types of sinful reactions in your life. All of us are suffering because there are different types of sinful reactions in our life. So by chanting this mantra, we are getting rid of all the sinful reactions. Then we also become free from all types of unwanted habits. Sometimes people are addicted to certain habits in their life. And if you chant this mantra every day, you will see it will become very easy for you to give up all these bad habits. And also you will experience peace of mind because your mind becomes free from all types of unwanted thoughts. So like that. And there is a clinical test which was done with some group of students. I will show you one video and what was this test and what was the change the students felt there.
On 3 groups of 62 subjects, males and females of average age 25. They chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 25 minutes each day under strict clinical supervision. Results showed that regular chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra reduces stress and depression and helps reduce bad habits and addictions. These results formed a PhD thesis at Florida State University.
So like that, we have seen in past that many students have got transformed just by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. In fact, we were preaching in some colleges, and there were some students who had a lot of addictions in their life. And just by chanting this mantra, these students were able to give up all their bad habits. So this is a very powerful process. And also we experience real happiness, because when your mind becomes peaceful, that is a qualification of real happiness. You also become free from anxiety and stress. So every day morning we chant and start our day. That will actually help us to handle different levels of anxiety and stress. And there are many people all over the world who have chanted Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and they have felt a big change in their life. Like in 1960s and 70s, when Hare Krishna movement started, that time there was a very famous singer, George Harrison from Beatles group. And he started chanting this mantra. He says it's really a process of having realization of God. Then in France, one of the youngest director, Jean-Claude, he says, everything started happening for me when I began chanting. And there is a very interesting devotee, his name is Alfred Bush Ford. He is grandson of Henry Ford. He is one of the owners of Ford Motors. And he says, chanting Hare Krishna has made a tremendous impact in my life. Andy Desai, Apar Group, he says, I have been chanting for many years and have never found anything more pleasurable. Rishikesh Mafatlal, he says for Mafatlal Fabrics, he says, chanting has helped me face all the ups and downs in my life with great confidence and peace of mind. Vicky Overton, she was a leading European model, and later she became a devotee in Hare Krishna movement. She says, when I chant, I feel tremendous happiness. Marco Ferrini, he says, chanting makes me feel close to God. David Wolf, he says, Maha Mantra significantly reduces stress, depression, and the mode of ignorance. And Paul says that when I am stressed out, I chant. It's one thing which charges my batteries, it clears my mind and brings me back in focus. So like that, today all over the world, there are many devotees, many people who are chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and all of us can also take to this process. This mantra is very simple as compared to other mantras. There are no rules and regulations. Sometimes people ask this question, what about other mantras which are there? We have to understand different mantras were recommended for different yugas based on, again, times and circumstances. So in Kali Yuga, this is a mantra which is recommended in all our Vedas. This is not a creation of ISKCON Hare Krishna movement. It is there in our Vedas. You can go and read, understand. And whoever chant this mantra can make rapid progress in his or her spiritual life, because there is no qualification which is required for this mantra. And very simple. So what you have to do is every day you have to make sure that in the morning time, morning is the best time. Of course, you can chant any time of the day. Morning, if you can chant for at least 108 times, which will not take more than 10 minutes of your day, and you have to chant and hear nicely this mantra. If your mind goes here and there, then you can chant a little more loudly so that your mind is fully focused on this mantra. So if you chant this every day and hear it nicely, then you will see your mind is becoming free from all types of unwanted thoughts, all types of unwanted habits, and then you will see real transformation happening in your life. But as we say, just like when you take medicine, it takes some time to show its effect. Similarly, you have to chant every day, and then you will see these transformations happening. Initially, definitely your mind will go here and there when you're chanting, but still continue your chanting. Don't worry about your mind. But if you continue like this every day, at least for 10 minutes, you will see then changes happening at your mental platform, which will actually help us to connect ourselves with God later. So this is real yoga system, as mentioned Bhagavad Gita. Yoga system is not for reducing belly fat. or jumping or doing some physical exercises. No, yoga system is actually practice on a spiritual platform. Yoga means to connect your Atma with Paramatma, and this is meant for increasing the inner strength more than your physical strength, because inner strength is much more important than your physical strength. Even if you have a very physically fit body, but your mind is not fit, then it is of no use. And even if you are physically handicapped, but your mind is very strong, internally you're very strong, and that is much more important than anything else. So, yes, we are not saying here that physical fitness is not important, but it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that more than physical fitness is your mental fitness, is your spiritual fitness, where we have to work on. So that is why yoga is very important part of life, and human form of life is meant for practicing yoga. But we have to understand what is the system of yoga which is recommended for Kali Yuga, which we can easily practice. If we just practice some portion of Ashtanga Yoga, some portion of other yoga systems, and don't execute it fully, then we'll not be able to attain the real result, real outcome of that yoga system. So in Kali Yuga, the easiest process yoga system is called Bhakti Yoga, in which we have to simply chant this mantra. And this mantra is chanted in two ways. One is called Japa, another is called Kirtan. Japa means you just chant and hear like this: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And Kirtan means we sing this mantra. Like in the beginning of this session, I played one Kirtan. So that is called singing. We sing with group of devotees, we play a lot of instruments. That is also another format of Bhakti Yoga. So any one of them we can do. But yes, japa is very important. Every day we have to do at least 10 minutes of japa. So I will today share a list of videos, a playlist, which is based on this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So please spare some time. Each video is of 3 to 5 minutes, not more than that. So every day you can spare some time to watch at least 1 or 2 videos, so that you will understand how this mantra has to be chanted, what is the proper process. And if you need japa beads or anything else, then for that also I will share some online things in the book. So I will end here. If you have any questions regarding to this session, you can ask. You can raise your hand or you can type in the chat box. So just some announcements are there. So we are planning a trip to Sri Lanka, and this is Sri Lanka Ramayana Yatra. This is a trip in which we are going to cover some of the very important pastime places connected with Ramayana. So Sri Lanka, as all of you know, Lord Ram went there and performed extraordinary pastimes. So we are going to visit all the important places in Sri Lanka, and this is like a 7 day trip. So if you're interested to join this trip, do let us know, and you can register yourself with your family. And then we also conduct every day online Bhagavad Gita sessions on different chapters of Bhagavad Gita. This is from Monday to Friday, 8 to 8:30 p.m. And this is on online Zoom platform, just like this is happening here. So if you wish, you can even join us for online Bhagavad Gita sessions. Okay, one question has come. Can we chant Om Shri Krishna Sharanam Nama mantra on beat? So as I've mentioned here, that yes, there are many mantras, and yes, you can chant, there is nothing harm, but we have to chant a mantra which is recommended for this Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is recommended. So ideally, we can chant this mantra on the beats. There is no harm in chanting other mantras, but we have to chant the mantra which is recommended for us in this Yuga. So like that, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is a mantra recommended for all of us. If we chant this mantra, we'll get maximum benefit. Can we get the link for online sessions, please? I'm hoping from overseas. Okay. So yes, I will share in the group, and you can join us for these sessions. And we are discussing different chapters in this online session, Monday to Friday. Okay, so I will end here. Thank you very much for joining us today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.